Where's the pigeons?
G'day and welcome back to Pub for Heretics, where we're going to be talking about Tyranids today. I'm your co-host Blake, and this is...
James. I am James.
and I'm
Great
Corbin.
start, lads.
He forgot his name for a second there. The
There's a
neurothrope got him.
Yeah. Hang on.
But yes, as Blake said, we are covering Tyranids today.
Oh, what's your name, kind sir?
Again! Oh, I said it already. My name's Corbin. It was amongst the laughing, but I'm going to be taking us through Tyranids today, seeing as I am the resident Xenos lover of our group.
Yeah.
The heretic!
I don't really know that much about Xenos, except that their blood looks really great when I splatter myself with it in Space Marine 2.
Yes, wow. Tyranids don't have blood.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I know where you're going with that.
Yeah. The blood that they have inside them is from other people, not from themselves. Tyranids have been around in GW since 1987.
Really? That far back?
Yeah, in a Rogue Trader episode. And they've had models since 4th edition or 3rd edition, I think. Pretty early on.
This might be a question that can't get answered, but how long has GW actually been around for?
Mid-80s, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought they were like 90s, like around the start of the 90s.
Nah, they're a little bit older than that.
Oh.
I think maybe the tabletop was early 90s. But like the Rogue Trader magazine and stuff like that, I think was late 80s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Before I was born, anyway. Fact check me.
1975. We were
Oh,
both
no.
wrong. We're all wrong.
Nope.
Damn, see? They've been around a long time.
Founded in 1975 at 15 Bolingbroke Road at London.
So that's the magazine. So what about the table?
No. This is Games Workshop. Games Workshop was originally a manufacturer of boards for games, including Backgammon, Mankiller, and Nine Men's Morris and Go.
Yeah,
So they originally made board games.
That was before Warhammer 40k.
Mm.
Yeah. So when did Warhammer like start being a thing? Because they also did like the, what is it, Heroes Quest? Isn't Heroes Quest before Warhammer?
Yes, Heroes Quest is older than that. 1983 was when Warhammer the First Edition came out.
Oh wow. Okay.
Damn, look. Anyway, continuing on with the space bugs, because we have so many bugs to get through. To start it off, I'll talk a little bit about what a Tyranid is, what they do. They are the space bugs. They're also known as the Great Devourer, which is also what I was called in high school. They are an extragalactic alien race. So they're the only race in 40k that comes from outside of our galaxy, the Warhammer galaxy.
There are some lesser ones that apparently have come through, or they live on the fringes and they might have come through another galaxy, but the Nids are the only ones that absolutely are confirmed as far as we know.
Yeah. And they consume all forms of genetic and biological material to evolve and reproduce. They've entered our galaxy on multiple fronts, with each swarm called a tendril or a hive fleet, directed by a single hive mind, who we have no idea what it is, where it is, how malicious it is. Yeah, the Tyranids don't talk to anybody. They don't communicate with other species, they just eat. They're just hungry bugs. Were you going to say something, Blake?
Just to point out how terrifying they actually are, I've just sent you a picture, James, of all the different hive fleets coming from different points in the galaxy. So, as you can see, Leviathan and Hydra came from below, Behemoth and Gorgon and Kraken came from one side, and then Moloch and Jormungandr came from another side. So, there's a horrible theory that we could be surrounded everywhere from different Tyranid fleets.
So
And these are just scouts.
So over near like the Halo Stars and New Hope, like there could be some that we just haven't seen yet.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Leviathan is fairly recent as well, so I guess that new hive fleet that came in.
We'll talk about the hive fleets and when they arrived and all that soon. Well, for the three main ones anyway. But I also want to mention, you may not know this, James. Tyranid technology is all completely biological.
Yep.
They grow their guns and their ships and everything else out of living matter. There is no technology there. It's all living forms. And if you see on like the Tyranid models, their guns actually grow out of their arms. They're a part of them.
Yeah, if you can actually see, it's actually connected to their arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the origins of the Tyranids are unknown, except that they are not from the galaxy and have spent millennia traveling through the intergalactic void. There are a lot of theories about how many different galaxies they've already eaten their way through on their way here, but it is also believed that the Astronomicon is what's drawing them to our galaxy. So that's another thing to thank Big E for.
The Pharos book had cleared that up, remember?
Actually.
No, that's what, like, drew one fleet into it, but since then, they've all been heading for Segmentum Solar, as we'll talk about.
Okay.
And in the Lexicanum, it quite literally states that they're drawn by the Astronomicon.
Okay.
As Blake just mentioned, first attracted to our galaxy with the Pharos machine overloaded during the Horus Heresy.
Basically, it was like a giant teleporting machine, god-level technology, but then it actually blew up, and then it went a signal beacon in the warp, and then that attracted a hive fleet, apparently.
A really interesting book. Blake and I have both read it. It's a good book, but it'll get its own book club episode. And Tyranids is also only the name that humans have given them because they were first encountered on Tyran in 741.M41, which was the Hive Fleet behemoth.
We don't actually know their real name.
However, it is thought the Tyranids have probed the galaxy way before this, and it is believed that the Catachan Devil and the Fenrisian Kraken are thought to be descendants of early Tyranids.
Really?
But also, because of what we know about gene stealer cults, we know that they arrived in our galaxy like a long time. And the Inquisition's Ordo Xenos records suggest contact with Tyranids as early as M35.
Oh, really? Halfway through the third millennium?
Yeah. And in M41, a bioship was discovered beneath the surface of a world where it had been since M34.
The reason why that's interesting, James, is because it's not that NIDs are recent, but they're like a couple of 100 years old recent, or at least that.
Yeah. So
So
instead
anything
of...
before that is interesting.
So yeah, because they were called Tyranids in M41, but it seems like they've been in our galaxy for like 7,000 years. I also want to touch on something that a lot of people don't know or don't fully understand about the Tyranids, which is the shadow in the warp. Which is kind of like the Tyranids being a human blank. They make psychic abilities difficult to use, they make people feel uncomfortable and sick when they're around them, which makes it really hard to shoot at them. It's thought that this could be because of the two-way communication with the hive mind.
Okay.
So you remember how we were talking about how the warp is like an ocean?
Yeah.
Imagine that ocean just getting darker and darker because there's so much concentrated Tyranid mass. And that's where the hive mind is.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because they don't really have a soul, but at the same time they take up space.
But they do also have psychic powers. They
They
use
do have
psychic
psychers.
community. Yeah, they have psychers. They have a lot of the psychers actually, but they make it so that human and alien psychers can't use their abilities around them. We'll touch on a few different like special ones that have larger shadows in the warp than others.
It's almost like kryptonite, like to psychers, but they are also psychers.
Yeah,
Well, it's more or less like putting a blanket over their powers, like, you know. So that's why when a Tyranid in Hive Fleet starts invading a planet, it's really a struggle for the Astropathic Choir to call for help because of the shadow and the warp stopping them.
Okay.
Yeah, and also, and it says that like psychers that might be attacking Tyranids, they at the very least will have a headache and be vomiting, which also makes it kind of hard to use any kind of psychic powers. We'll talk about, starting off, the Hive Fleet Behemoth, which was largely defeated at the Battle of Macragge, thanks to my Ultramarines, in M41.
That's the first appearance, like, in-game of the Tyranids. I remember going years ago to Games Workshop and seeing the Ultramarines, like, on display, taking on the red and black and blue Tyranids.
Yeah.
What edition was that?
No idea.
Seventh,
Years ago.
7th or 8th.
Yeah, something like
Okay, so it's a more recent. Yeah.
Yeah. They looked ridiculous, their models, in the 3rd and 4th editions and like 5th editions.
I'll see if I can find them.
Yeah, I saw a few pictures as I was doing the research for this.
No, that can't be their old models. No.
Yeah, they're terrible.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, I shit you not.
Yeah, I want to like redo like some old like models, like so like
You don't want to
Ones that-
redo these ones, I tell ya.
Oh, damn.
I've
That-
seen like a few of these like metal ones. Yeah, they're pretty. I have seen this. I didn't know they were Tyranids. I thought that they were like something else. Like,
Yeah.
something that had been gotten rid of, or something that we hadn't heard of yet.
Oh, they got rid of them. They got rid of them.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the next Hive fleet that was discovered was Hive Fleet Kraken. And the Imperium fought against Kraken in the Icar 4 campaign.
They're a little bit like pale flesh tone
Yeah,
red.
yep. I've
And
seen
then
that.
Behemoth.
Oh, so they're all different, like from the different hives. They're all
Yep.
different colors.
Yeah,
Think
they
of them
even
as
have
like, yeah.
they even have different units in some of the different hives that aren't used in other Hive fleets.
Or there might be like Space Marine Legions, how they specialize in different types of warfare. Like some are hordes, some focus on monsters and that kind of thing.
Because like Leviathan, they're like the purple
Purple and white.
and white. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought that they were just. I mean, I know that, you know, with the Space Marines, like certain colors mean certain things, but I thought with the Tyranids, it was just like, oh yeah, I like black and purple, so I did black and purple.
Well, it's good because the hobby like allows you to paint the models however you want, and it still could be lore accurate.
So, James, the largest Hive fleet discovered so far is, can you guess?
Leviathan.
It is, and it was
You're
discovered at
absolutely
the
correct.
the end of M41, and like thanks to Abaddon and the creation of the Great Rift, much of Leviathan was actually cut off as it's made its assault on Baal, the homeworld of the Blood Angels. Most of the Leviathan was defeated by a combination of the Indomitus Crusade, which we'll talk about in another episode. It's quite interesting, and the demonic armies. But what is left is surging towards Segmentum Solar, Mars, Terra, Jupiter, Neptune, our little like grouping of planets.
So Chaos will still, like, I know that against them, like the Tyranids don't care if you're Chaos or Imperium or whatever.
They
like,
hate chaos because they don't have biomass.
Ah. But they- Chaos still fight like with the Imperium, like against the Tyranids.
Not
like,
with the Imperium.
Nope, never.
No, but if Tyranids are attacking a Chaos world, they'll kill them. What if a Tyranid comes in and starts eating up all of Grandpa Nurgle's favorite mushrooms?
Yeah,
oh,
They're gonna get
true.
fucking stomped.
Yeah.
But it is believed that Behemoth, Kraken, and Leviathan were only the vanguard of a larger unseen force, as we said before. The Tyranids are also constantly evolving at an incredible pace, making them immune to any biological weapon or disease that's thrown at them. Because like the Mechanicus developed a virus that would stop the Tyranids from being able to like absorb the mass, and they quickly evolved to get around that because they're just constantly adapting.
For example, as well in the Space Marine 2 game, where you shoot that that virus bomb into the stratosphere to try and weaken the Nids.
Oh yeah, yep.
Doesn't last long because they just eventually evolve around it. But it gave the Imperium forces a window to try and take them on.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And as Blake already beat me to it, the raw matter of chaos offers no nourishment to Tyranids, though the Tyranids tend to avoid areas with warp storms and demons, meaning our Chaos Marines are safe and might be the saviors of the galaxy. However, Hive Fleet Kronos appears to be trying to find a solution to this by spawning a lot of psycho organisms, and even, as we'll talk about when we go through the actual units, Tyranids that can eat chaos matter.
Oh, so they are evolving like.
Yes.
Mm.
Alright, and that's the base information, like quick skim through of what a Tyranid is. And now we're going to talk about some Tyranid types that we know of, because they're not all documented, and we haven't seen all of them yet.
Yeah, and just think of it like this way, James. These hive fleets could just be scouts.
Yeah,
Oh,
pretty much.
okay.
Let that sink into your head for a second.
Yeah, so they could be something even bigger.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there definitely is.
Yeah, almost guaranteed. So I'll start off with some of the bigger named Tyranids. So to start off, we're going to talk about the hive mind. So there is no individualism in Tyranids, Each unit is linked to another in a swarm consciousness known as the hive mind. This is basically the unknown entity that controls all of the Tyranids, and it controls them through synapse creatures, certain units that are conduits between the smaller Tyranids and the hive mind. This is why if you kill a big Tyranid, small ones die around it, as you see.
They're like the important nodes in the hive mind controlling everything else.
Start off with a big one. The Swarm Lord, who is pinnacle of the Tyranid race. He is essentially immortal, and once killed, it is reborn by the hive mind with the same experiences and knowledge, regularly making it smarter and stronger each time it's killed. Wields 4 bone sabers, crackling with disruptive power, capable of slicing through adamantium and force fields. It almost killed Kelgar twice, and almost killed Dante in the devastation of Baal. The interesting thing about like the how it basically gets remade, it's not always remade in the same tendril. The Swarm Lord has appeared in like 3 different tendrils.
And tendrils being different hive fleets.
So he could die on one side of the planet and basically be reborn, like pumped out of a Norn Queen, like the next day on the other side of the galaxy.
Damn.
Yeah.
You gotta think of them as really scary xenomorph aliens, because that's essentially what they are.
Yeah.
I wonder where they got the idea from.
The secret ingredient is crime.
What, you mean back in 1987?
Yeah, exactly.
There was no such thing as copyright, apparently.
Yeah.
Alright, moving on, we've got Old One-Eye. So I will have to race through these a little bit because there are so many space bugs. So many different types. I'm not even going to cover them all because there's too many to cover. Don't hate me for it, Tyranids fans. It's just, there's a lot. I'll cover all my favorites and the really important ones, and the ones that make an appearance in Space Marine 2, obviously. So Old One-Eye. He is a unique Carnifex with great crab-like claws and the ability to heal itself from mortal wounds. So, a lucky shot from an unremembered hero of the Imperium with a plasma pistol took out its eye and burned its brain. And that was in the Battle of Calth. And then... Calth, yes.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then decades later, some smugglers found its body buried in ice. And they were like, "Oh,
mine." And the laws of maritime salvage clearly state that the finder of a sunken treasure is the owner of the treasure.
And they thawed it out, hoping to get a reward for its body. You can probably guess what happened.
Yeah, they died.
Yeah, it instantly started healing itself and killed them all. And then once recovered, Old One-Eye drew smaller Tyranids to him, because he's a synapse, and caused havoc on Calth again. And so basically everyone on Calth was like, "Save us, Ultramarines! Save us!"
Well, more like everybody on Calth was like, "Not again."
How many times is Calth gonna suffer?
Just to point out, James, Calth is like a constant battleground of bullshit.
I was gonna say, we just rebuilt.
Just rebuilt, gets burnt down. Just rebuild, like, destroyed. Sergeant Telion and his Ultramarine squad came to the rescue, and they fought it. But it wiped out his whole squad. And right before Telion could die, he got a lucky shot off Old One-Eye in his missing eye, and the Carnifex fell into a cavernous ravine. The body has still not been found.
Until someone unthaws it and then starts all over again.
Well, it could be on the other side of the galaxy right now. It could have been rebirthed somewhere else, or...
Yeah, true.
I'd like to point out as well that is essentially the only named character, as far as I know, for NIDS.
It started off as a named character, but they actually turned it into a regular model with this one, the Death Leaper.
Oh, yeah.
So he was a unique lictor, created to be an instrument of terror, would make sentries and guards disappear without a trace, who later turned up with their brains sucked out. He often goes after leaders and generals. There's a story where he goes after like this spiritual leader on a world, and he goes up and he takes out all of the guards for the spiritual leader, but doesn't kill the spiritual leader, just covers it, leaves him covered in blood, disappears. He comes back, he does this several times until the spiritual leader's mind absolutely breaks, and it just does like a total disruption to all of the forces on the planet.
In my opinion, it is the sickest model.
It's very cool.
It's got a really cool, like, xenomorph, yet, like, Cthulhu Mind Flayer look to it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, it looks like the Mind Flare.
Yeah. And that's the fun thing about Tyranids, is, like, their customizability is actually totally lore accurate to, like, The Norn Queen might be like, you know what? We need more guns on our gaunts, so these are going to be Termagaunts instead of Hormagaunts, and like. So moving on from the Death Weeper, I'm not going to talk much about the Bio-Titans and the ships, because there are so many different types of Bioship, because they're created and adapted as the need arises. And same for Bio-Titans. They're huge bugs equivalent to the Imperium's Titans, but they're alive.
Yeah, imagine Tyranids the size of Titans. And you remember in Space Marine 2 where we destroyed that hive ship?
Yeah, yeah.
That was a living Tyranid.
Yeah, it's a Bioship. And after the Bio-Titans and ships, we have the Cerebor. It is a massive Tyranid transporter organism.
Yeah, that's one word for it.
Yeah, wait till you get a look at this, James.
I can only find a real picture. I can't really actually find a decent model of it.
I think that's
wow.
the only picture.
Yeah, it's the only official art that I could find.
Yeah. It's basically like an armored carrier to get the small nids in closer.
It's like a little tank.
Yeah.
It's their rhino.
Yeah, basically. And after that we have the Dactylus.
You're killing me with these names, man.
Dactylis.
Oh yeah, the big cannon one.
Yeah, so it's a long-range firepower organism that launches spore mines. Basically, it has two multi-jointed arms that throw things that it grows out of its back.
It looks like people. It looks like people have tried making their own into more like a basilisk cannon kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there's not like an official mini for it.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think that's why people are custom making their own.
That's why. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's why people are trying to make them.
Yeah. But now the one that you've just posted that somebody kit bashed is the Exocrine, and that is the long-range tank that looks like it has a dick on its back.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And it launches shots of plasma at its enemies.
Have you ever seen Starship Troopers?
Yeah.
It's a bit of that.
Yeah. So then after that we have the Haruspex, which is deployed in the later stages of an invasion. And these large Tyranids gobble up everything at a rapid rate. Do you want me to spell it out for you, Blake? Haruspex.
No, I'm not listening to you now. I'm not listening to you now at a point of pride.
Yeah.
But just for me, can you do it again?
Haruspex. Haruspex.
Got it anyways. Didn't need your help.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's an ugly bastard.
He
Jesus.
is an ugly bastard. He has 3 sets of jaws and a long tongue. Hey.
So these are the eaters.
They're the eaters.
These are the clean.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that many.
Yeah. It can devour an entire platoon in mere moments and devour every scrap of flesh on a battlefield in a matter of hours.
So the Nids will basically go and eat whatever they can. Microbes in the air, microbes in the water. Like, they will literally eat the rivers and seas dry.
Yeah, all the way down to the crust. After the Haruspex,
Yeah.
the big gobble, after that we have the Sporocyst. Launched from orbiting bioships, it burrows under the ground and emits clouds of polluting microorganisms which alter a planet's atmosphere until the air is ripe for consumption.
It looks like they did have an old mini.
Yeah. So basically, it's like a little tick that goes under the ground and releases up all of these like polluting microorganisms. It changes the atmosphere so that people can't exist on it, and like animals can't exist on it, and it makes it easy for the Tyranids to gobble it all up.
Basically terraforms the planet to something they can live in.
Yeah. Not a fun time.
True.
We have the Carnifex.
Carnifex himself.
Yeah. Which we've all fought this in Space Marine 2. We've fought a couple of them.
Yeah.
They are basically living battery rams used in shock assaults and breaking defenses.
And having really cool finisher moves when you kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
They're able to shrug off small arms fire and bolt gun shots without almost any damage. They were also...
Almost.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they've already had like a bridge collapsed on them, it might do something. They come in many different forms, with lots of different weapons, from heavy venom cannons to death spitters. And there are, like, at least 5 other more, like, types of Carnifex as well, but we won't go into all of them. After that, we have the Harpies. They're large winged species. They can actually outmaneuver like the Stormhawks and stuff, the Space Marines. But its belly has bloated fists that it rains down spore mines on enemies. So basically, they're like flying bombers.
So even if you kill it, they're still gonna like drop big bombs out.
Yep.
It's like that scene from Alien. It's got a wonderful defense mechanism. You don't dare kill it.
Yeah. But it also has an air-splitting shriek that bursts the eardrums of anyone within like a radius of it. And we have the Hive Crone, which is they're an aerial combat Ned who shoot living missiles known as tentaclids. Get this, drool cannon. It basically vomits up acidic digestive juices on its enemies as it flies over them.
Jeez.
Yeah. Then we have what I think are probably one of the coolest ones, the Hive Tyrants. This is what the Swarm Lord was. They're commanders of the Tyranid swarms, and are the primary synapse for the hive mind. They're about 3 times the height of a man, and can tear through plasteel or ferrocrete with ease. So we haven't really talked much about plasteel and ferrocrete, but that's basically what the Imperium builds all of their stuff out of. That's what their tanks are plated with, it's what their walls are made out of.
It's basically a better version of steel and concrete.
Okay.
Yeah.
Popular.
This is the one you kill in the operation, and then when you do, all the others go down Phantom Menace style.
Which, it works for the game. Also, it doesn't technically die, because they're immortal. But, yeah, they're perfectly designed to kill in melee or range. And unlike other Tyranids, they are self-aware and incredibly intelligent. Some have even been said to be tactical geniuses.
So are these ones that can also like do the same, like they can rebirth like from wherever?
Yep. And so they're like most Tyranids are rebirth or like they make new ones. But the hive mind doesn't impart the knowledge to those ones, but it does for these bigger ones like the hive tyrants. So all of the knowledge that it learns while it's like alive is communicated to the hive mind, and then when a new one is rebirthed, it will put all of that knowledge of its past existences into it to make it even smarter again.
Think of it as like a computer that's constantly updating this same save file and then constantly reprinting it.
Yeah. So it would have a real vendetta against someone that killed it.
Yeah, and also remember all of the weaknesses or opportunities in fighting that person. They also have terrifying psychic abilities and have been said to shred enemies' minds with a gaze. They can be equipped with a bone sword, a lash whip, heavy venom cannons, or stranglethorn cannons. We'll go through the Tyranid weapons another time, because their weapons are like, the descriptions are disgusting.
So with the weapons as well, like, so these guys, they're not even, like, they're not just, like, long range or short range. Like, they seem like they've got them set up, especially, like, on the mini side of it, where they feel like they would be really good at close range, but they're also seemingly pretty decent at long range as well.
Yeah, no, the Hive Tyrants are designed to be able to kill in melee or in range.
Yeah.
At any point in time.
These seem like the OP sort of like...
Yeah.
Oh,
so even the ones that are just equipped with melee weapons, they have psychic abilities that can lance and make people's heads explode from like miles away. So yeah, this
might be the mini that I might actually have to get to finally defeat you guys.
And Manius Calgar barely survived twice.
Yeah. And lost basically most of his men every time he did it too. And Dante of the Blood Angels almost died to one.
So these are like these will kill a Primaris. Like
they could kill a Primarch if they got lucky.
Oh, really?
Like the fact that you kill one in Space Marine 2 is just like fun gaming.
Yeah. You also got to remember that
3 of them couldn't take them down.
You also got to remember the Hive Tyrant that you face in Space Marine 2 is injured because it has a piece of a building through it. So we're fighting it when it's weak.
Yeah. But even still, 3 Space Marines shouldn't be able to take it down, technically. But, it's fun gaming, and it's great being able to kill it, because, kill Big Bug. Alright, moving on. Hive Tyrants, we got the Meliceptor.
That's up to you, mate.
we got the Meliceptor. a highly psychic Tyranid that shoots energy spears from its cranium, vaporizing everything in its way. It is also protected by a psychic barrier, and it has ethereal pseudopods which reach forth from its brain array and overload their victim's consciousness, causing their heads to explode. It also creates a huge shadow in the warp. Basically, it has in its core, it's just constantly like putting out a huge shadow in the warp. After that, we have the Morlock, which is big scary worm that acts as an outrider for swarms.
Oh, so the Dune monster.
It's the Dune monster. That's what it is. Psychophage. This is the one developed by Hive Fleet Kronos, which devours psychic energy and life forms. It has a massive whipping tentacles, which can strip a mind from its body before the sorcerer can even attack.
The Japanese would love that one.
There's a lot of tentacles in the Nids, mate. There's a lot of tentacles. After that, we have the Turvagon, which is a massive Tyranid that serves as a living incubator that spawns Termagons. So they have been seen smashing through fortress walls, pressing their birthing sacs into the gap, and unleashing lesser Tyranids inside, straight at the enemy forces.
Jesus.
That's a rough image I just found.
They're all rough images.
Mm.
Look at that birthing sac on its belly.
Oh god.
We got, after that, the Tyrannofex, which is another biotank, lots of armor and crazy weaponry. It's got a massive cannon. This time it's fused with its torso instead of its back. Still looks like a dick though. But it's got the most destructive Tyranid weapon besides those used in the Bio-Titans. And it also has breeding chambers in its thorax.
Just breeding chambers left, right, and center.
Yep. Breeding chambers.
It feels like you can't kill a lot of these Tyranids because they'll just like birth more.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's why they're a horde army.
Yeah.
You can kill them, but they just keep coming. And that is because of the next unit that we're going to talk about. The Norn Queens. So they live in the bioships, and they produce...
Think of this as the alien queen.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
This is like
It's just
five times any of the, like 5 times the Carnifex. Because they birth Carnifexes and stuff. They command the Norn Emissaries directly. So the Norn Emissaries are immense, towering Tyranid warriors that act as assassins. They're larger than a Hive Tyrant, and they combine brute strength and psychic powers like a Hive Tyrant, but they're sent to kill commanders or leaders by the Norn Queen. Also able to compress their mass to fit through small gaps and move at a blistering speed. And they have also been seen to easily tear Custodes apart or kick their heads right off.
Oh, damn.
Yes. Good fun.
Even the women.
They don't discriminate. There's no gender in the Tyranids. And then after that we have the Biovore, which is
You're putting me to work, mate. There's so many goddamn minis that you're going through.
I know, we're going through, it's because there's a lot of bugs. So Biovore is a medium-sized tank that launches spore mines.
From its penis cannon by the fucking looks of it.
Yeah, and the variants include the Triovore and the Protovore.
I'm not getting videos of them too.
No, you're fine. They're just very slightly different versions that have different kinds of cannons on the back.
They're like different loadouts.
Yeah. There's a lot of like Bellic guns because they're biological guns that shoot exacts.
There is also another reason for that as well, is because they take a lot of inspiration from like the xenomorphs in Alien. The guy that created the designs for it was a guy named Geiger, and he was very into making very phallic and arousing sort of imagery, which is why when he came up with the facehugger and he came up with the xenomorph and the alien ship, it had those sort of connotations to it, and that's just carried over into the Nids.
I did some drawings, so Ridley Scott liked to have the exterior landscape, the space jockey, the exilo, exterior, interior, all the alien surroundings. And I was very happy to do that because I was not so limited. Dried bones, old, together with plaster scene to do it. A real mixed up, a real biomechanical landscape, that would be good.
Giger's sets were so erotic, and I mean, as big as and I mean, it's like, it's the whole thing is like you're going inside of some sort of womb or whatever. I mean, it's sort of visceral and all of those things, and I think all those elements came into it, and that's what makes it really work.
Then after that, we have the good old Lictor. They are the scouts and the vanguards of the swarms that seek out prey. They are masters of stealth with chameleonic skin to blend in with their background, rendering them invisible, as we know from the Space Marine 2 game, and have been known to remain still for days on end, waiting for the right time to strike.
Oh yeah, these guys are annoying.
Yeah. And from the victim's brain, lictors can absorb memories and learn positions of enemy forces or weaknesses, which they then send back to the hive mind.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. They're very agile and fast, and taller than a space marine, and they exude a pheromone trail as they track their prey, drawing other Tyranids to them. And then when they go into battle, they release even more of it, which brings even more Tyranids around them. After that, we have the Neurolictor, which is just the psychic variant of the Lictor. We have the Ravener, which we also encounter in Space Marine 2.
The one with the fucking snake.
Yep, it burrows underground for long distances at alarming speeds. It has spade-like scythes for digging. The Tyranid warriors, which these are, like, your knights, your warriors. They're the ones that, like, shoot at you from far away, or, you have to parry twice with their goddamn whips in Space Marine 2.
Yeah.
And there are over 212 known variants of the Tyranid warriors, which I will list off for you now. Kidding, no, I won't.
Oh, thank God. Jesus Christ, I'm sick of bugs now.
After that, we have the Venom Throat, which is their lethal gas ultimately kills all life and ruins the soil beyond habitable for anything besides the Nids.
Oh, these are the Weave's favorites.
Yeah. So they have scrawny bodies and whip-like tendrils that can cause death by a single touch. After that, we have the Zoanthropes, which are the psychic artillery. They are synapse creatures used to relay commands to the rest of the swarm. And, this is interesting, this is something I didn't actually know about them, Eldar DNA was used to create and improve them.
Really?
Yeah. So because the Norm Queens take in and ingest DNA to create and improve their warriors, because they ate a bunch of Eldar, and they were like, hey, you know what? Psychic artillery, and have been seen to bring down Titans by boiling through the adamantium plating on them.
They're the flying ones that we...
Yeah, they're the ones with the big health bar.
Yeah, so the Zoanthropes are your base ones, and then you've got the Neurothropes, which are the ones that can heal themselves.
Yeah.
We're finally getting towards the end.
Are we?
Yeah. We have the Gaunts. These are the basic foot soldiers. We'll just quickly rattle off a few of them. We have the Hormagaunt, which is the melee variant. We have the Termagaunt, which is the ranged variant. We have the Neurogaunt, which is the psychic variant. We have the Barbagaunt, which is the heavy ranged variant. And we have the Gargoyles, which are the flying variant. We have Rippers, the little rat swarm things, but they're mainly used as cleanup crew.
Okay, so they would they would eat the soldiers and then take that nutrients back to the hive or whatever. Yeah. Okay, I gotcha.
And then lastly is the Spore Mines, which are just living, floating mines that go boom if you get too close.
These are the ones that chase us and explode.
Yeah, they're the little green balls that are such a... And that is all I have for Tyranids. We covered all the important ones, what they basically are, what they do.
So if you had an army of Tyranids, James, what color would you paint them?
I have an army of... I feel like I say this almost every episode. I have this army. I got it with Leviathan, and then I bought a couple extra after it. But I probably would be painting them, I don't know, darker colors. I'd probably make them stealthy.
Yeah, I quite like the red and black look.
Out of the ones that we've seen, the red and black.
I mean, I love the white and pinks and purples.
I've seen a few people where they've made them look very close to like the xenomorphs, like so they're like very black. So they
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. There's a custom fleet called Hive Fleet Geiger, which is based on the guy that I told you about before, where you do them in blacks and like pilot blue with a bit of green in there for the acid blood. That's how I would paint them.
Yeah.
yeah.
But anyway, guys, thanks for listening to my Tyranid episode as we talk about space bugs.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Anything else you guys want to say before we pick this puppy out?
Kill the Xenos, purge the Xenos. You know the usual.
I was gonna say, I think the next couple episodes we're gonna sort of focus around, like, especially with being Space Marine 2 is being out, so we're probably gonna do things that are.
You know what? We're missing the obvious one too for next month. We have to do October. We already did Orcs though, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna do a squig tier list episode, or?
Ooh, actually, that's a good idea. Or even like, I suppose spooky.
Anyway, guys, we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.
For the glory of chaos!